Didn't help. The DOJ does its DOJ thing against Apple, minor software updates from the Cupertino company, and BAFTA nominations for Apple TV Plus. It is Friday, the 22nd of March, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code macOSKen at manscaped.com. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. The Justice Department, joined by 16 other state and district attorneys general, filed a civil antitrust lawsuit against Apple for monopolization or attempted monopolization of smartphone markets. So says a press release from the Department of Justice. The release says the complaint alleges that Apple illegally maintains a monopoly over smartphones by selectively imposing contractual restrictions on and withholding critical access points from developers. Now, this seems to require a bit of stripping down. When the DOJ says monopoly over smartphones, it only means some smartphones. The way the DOJ lays it out, there are performance smartphones and entry-level or non-performance smartphones. The Justice Department says competition from non-performance smartphones is not sufficient today to prevent Apple from exercising monopoly in the performance smartphone market, which some might see as an arbitrary distinction. It's a distinction made in the suit, though not in the press release. In the press release, the DOJ says Apple has monopoly power in the smartphone and performance smartphones markets, and it uses its control over the iPhone to engage in a broad, sustained, and illegal course of conduct. A piece on the filing from Bloomberg Law says the suit alleges that Apple has used its power over app distribution on the iPhone to thwart innovations that would have made it easier for consumers to switch phones. Steps the DOJ accuses Apple of taking to illegally maintain its alleged smartphone dominance include blocking innovative super apps, suppressing mobile cloud streaming services, excluding cross-platform messaging apps. Yes, they brought the green bubble, blue bubble fight. Diminishing the functionality of non-Apple smartwatches and limiting third-party digital wallets. But wait, there's more. According to the suit, Apple's anti-competitive conduct not only limits competition in the smartphone market, but also reverberates through the industries that are affected by these restrictions, including financial services, fitness, gaming, social media, news media, entertainment, and more. More like web browsers, video communication, news subscriptions, automotive services, advertising, and location services, according to the press release. Apple has every incentive to extend and expand its course of conduct to acquire and maintain power over next frontier devices and technologies, according to the DOJ. It says this case is about freeing smartphone markets from Apple's anti-competitive and exclusionary conduct and restoring competition to lower smartphone prices for consumers, reducing fees for developers, and preserving innovation for the future. This prompts an interesting question raised by Jason Snell over at Six Colors. Under the subheading, United States versus the people of the United States, Snell writes this suit has a political element to it in the sense of trying to send a message that your government is looking out for your rights and protecting you from big bad tech companies. What happens when that collides with a product that has extremely high customer satisfaction ratings? Those of us in the know, writes Snell, are well aware of the ways that Apple plays hardball and understand that the company is so powerful that really the only way it will be convinced to change its ways is under threat of government intervention. But will American iPhone users feel like the government is on their side in taking on an American tech giant that makes a product they actually enjoy using? It's an interesting question. Chiming in from the I, Me, Mine contingent, the Coalition for App Fairness. It will surprise you to hear that they like this whole government sues Apple idea. Made of such Apple frenemies and enemies as Deezer, Epic Games, Match Group, and more, TechCrunch had the coalition saying in a statement, the Department of Justice is taking a strong stand against Apple's stranglehold over the mobile app ecosystem, which stifles competition and hurts American consumers and developers alike. The DoJ complaint details Apple's long history of illegal conduct, abusing their App Store guidelines and developer agreements to increase prices, extract exorbitant fees, degrade user experiences, and choke off competition. Don't mince words, Bones. What do you really think? Apple, of course, not a fan of the DoJ plan. In a statement shared a few places, including TechCrunch, the Cupertino company said, "This lawsuit threatens who we are and the principles that set Apple products apart in fiercely competitive markets. If successful, it would hinder our ability to create the kind of technology people expect from Apple, where hardware, software, and services intersect. It would also set a dangerous precedent, empowering government to take a heavy hand in designing people's technology. We believe this lawsuit is wrong on the facts and the law, and we will vigorously defend against it." Thinking Apple will prevail in the end is Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note he wrote in the wake of the DOJ filing. Structurally, writes the analyst, we think a core challenge is perhaps that current antitrust law focuses on quantifiable market definitions. We continue to think any meaningful antitrust action against Apple in the U.S. will require new legislation from Congress, as existing laws make it very difficult to argue that Apple operates a monopoly using market definitions or consumer harm standards. Figuring 2 to 3 years for the first lawsuit to conclude, plus about a year of appeals. Daryanani says he and his continue to view antitrust as more of a headline risk than a financial risk in the U.S., and unless we see new legislation passed, it is unlikely Apple will be forced to meaningfully change its App Store fee or third-party App Store policies. He's got an outperform rating on Apple shares and a price target of $220. Thinking along a similar line is Josh Brown, CEO and co-founder of Ritholtz Wealth Management and a talking head on CNBC. Another piece from Apple 3.0 had Brown hitting the Financial Channel Thursday saying, "It's really tough to prove true consumer harm. The consumers are voting with their wallets, and they love these products and they can't buy enough of them, and you can raise the price every year, and they keep buying them. Nobody has a gun to their head to choose Apple over Android. It's consumer preference, and they continually signal that they're happy and they want more. My sense," says Brown, "is that this drags on for 2 or 3 years. I wouldn't get too worked up about it. I'm certainly not a seller of Apple as a result." More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Manscaped. Man is a hairy beast, and Manscaped can help tame it. And the hair, that is. From your face to your chest to other hairy parts of people, they've got the tools to help you get things under control. For the out-and-about parts, there's the Beard Hedger Pro Kit Plus Handyman Electric Face Shaver. For the parts fewer people see, probably, there's the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This 5th-generation trimmer from Manscaped features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, one for trimming, one for going smooth. It's got a dual LED spotlight, a 1-hour lithium-ion battery, it's waterproof, and it comes with a convenient case. Maybe you've never thought of doing anything for that region, but think about it. They've also got shampoos, balms, and deodorants to make taking care of things less of a thing. For the parts of you that everyone sees, or the parts of you that very few do, 10 million people worldwide have trusted Manscaped, and you can too with this special offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code MacOSKen for 20% off plus free shipping. That's 20% off and free shipping with code MacOSKen at manscaped.com. That's MacOSKen, all caps, all one word. Code MacOSKen at manscaped.com. MANSCAPED. Get 20% off and free shipping with code MacOSKen at manscaped.com. A few smallish software updates from Apple on Thursday. Mac Rumors says the Cupertino company released iOS and iPadOS 17.4.1, as well as visionOS 1.1.1. Apple notes for each say decidedly little, just that they include important bug fixes and security updates. That said, the site has word of one specific thing done by the iPadOS update. A standalone piece from Mac Rumors says one of the bugs squished for the tablet could prevent certain iPads from being able to scan QR codes. A support doc from the company says that was an issue for some with the 6th and 7th generation iPad models, the 10.5-inch iPad Pro, and the 2nd generation 12.9-inch iPad Pro. While the release notes don't mention the fix, the aforementioned support doc says iPads affected by this QR code problem should step up an update to 17.4.1. As for the security fixes, who can say? Well, Apple, but they're not. While all three of the ... releases say they include security updates, Apple's not ready yet to say what those are. A visit to the company's security updates page says details for each are coming soon. And finally today, award season never really ends, just circles round and starts over. Apple TV Plus issued a press release Thursday announcing nominations it's received for this year's BAFTA Television Awards, said to reward the very best in television broadcast on British screens. Titles from Apple are up for 13 of them. They include 6 for Slow Horses, Best Sound, Fiction, Makeup and Hair Design, 2 for Editing, 1 for Supporting Actor, Jack Loudon, who plays River Cartwright, and Best Drama Series. For the dystopian drama Silo, there are 4 award nominations: Costume Design, Production Design, Original Music, Fiction, and Special Visual and Graphic Effects, 2 for the Enfield Poltergeist, Specialist Factual, and Sound Factual. And finally, Hannah Waddingham, Home for Christmas, has been nominated for Entertainment. Not sure all of those are actually awards. If you want to catch the nominees, they are all streaming now on Apple TV+. The awards will go to whom they will go over 2 ceremonies. The BAFTA Television Craft Awards will be held on Sunday, the 28th of April. The BAFTA Television Awards hit 2 weeks later, on Sunday, the 12th of May. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and sponsored by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code MacOSKen at manscaped.com. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Advertising handle by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.